Hey everyone, what's going on? West Productions 100 here, bringing you another commentary video about COVID-19. I just want to talk about it real quickly, briefly. I just want to get off my chest a bit right now because what's been going on with COVID, COVID's still very relevant in my opinion. Even right now, even with the vaccinations going on, but the vaccinations are taking a lot of time, so that helps to prolong things. But yeah, no, in my personal experience, I feel like COVID has definitely had an impact on me, just like mentally, not really physically. I feel like if it did have an impact on me physically, I didn't really get tested, so I can't tell for certain. But there was at least one time where back in like March and April when the first wave happened, I felt like I may have gotten it then. But like I said, I didn't go out, I didn't get tested, and so I was just kind of anxious about it. So here we are, almost a year later, since the lockdowns began. It's been at least 10 months, I would say. Yeah. So, but like, despite that, despite it being 10 months, it still feels very relevant to me personally. Maybe not to other people, but to me it does. Um, it's just like, one thing is like how even like going out, just trying to go out, like just trying to get your mind off of COVID for me has been difficult. The idea of like just getting out there, just going to a restaurant for carry out delivery or whatever, or going to just anywhere really. For me personally, I feel very slow to do that kind of stuff. I feel very anxious about doing it. I don't feel very like passionate about it, or I just don't feel like very eager. Maybe eager is a better word. I don't feel very eager to do that, to like, just to do stuff. Like I feel very COVID, but with COVID, it definitely feels very amplified because it's like, I don't know, it just feels demoralizing to not, for me personally. Other people don't seem to have much of a problem with it. I feel like I do. Another thing I want to talk about is I don't know why, but I've been noticing this on and off since the pandemic began, but like this weird thing with time. Like it feels like, especially in this day and age when we have like a cell phone, you got the computer, and you got clocks, and you got other things to like track time with. I still find myself, if I'm not like really closely paying attention to what time it is, I still find myself having a hard time like noticing time passing by sometimes. Like I'll be looking at the clock, then I don't know, I'll lose focus from it, and then like a couple hours will just swing right by. I'm just like, what the hell happened? Like I felt like I was experiencing that before I even got on camera. I'm like, how much time has passed by since I thought about doing a video? How much time has passed by since I thought about doing this and doing that? And I kind of just overthink things sometimes. And I thought I did that today. I feel like, should I not go out? Should I stay in? What should I do? So that's an example of what I'm talking about right there. I feel like I do feel like COVID in this particular situation has contributed to that. Not saying that COVID is the only factor, but I definitely feel like that's put a drain on me, and other things going on in the world too right now, like with what happened in DC last week it was crazy to watch and see that unfold, and that was a lot to take in, and I kind of like been analyzing that a whole bunch, maybe more so than I feel like I should have, but I don't know, I just got kind of wrapped up in it. Like I just kind of, it's in terms of like riots or protests, that for sure is one of the most documented ones possibly ever in our history. And by history, I mean like world history, because everyone there, not everyone there, that's a bit of a exaggeration, but a lot of people there were documenting it with their phones. They had cameras, not just even the news crews, just like just people in the crowd just had their phones, or independent journalists came and brought their own cameras, or just like hobbyists came with their own cameras, or vloggers or whatever. Like just other people came as well. And like there's so much footage out there of this event that happened on January 6th. Like so many different angles, so many different angles. Yeah, essentially. So many different positions and points of view. It's just like it's interesting, and it's also kind of like a lot to take in, because there's a lot you can view to do that. If you're willing to go out and look at it and not just like watch a quick news segment and be done with it. If you really want to, I mean, I've looked at all sorts of stuff up just on YouTube alone, but there's other places too. But just on YouTube alone, I mean, there's all these different videos like from different people who published it, just showing it. So yeah, it's a lot to take in, and it really also makes me feel uncertain about the future as well, because it's like, what's going to happen? Is anything going to happen? Maybe nothing will happen. Maybe it's just a one and done. Maybe it's the start of something bigger. So I hope it's not the start of something bigger. I hope it's just like that. I hope it was like a one and done for now, but I can't. There's no way to know for certain. So it also goes to that whole fear of the unknown thing. What's going to happen, what's not going to happen. And but anyway, going back to COVID though, I feel like it's definitely been a lot to take in, a lot to to see, and just like all these different debates and topics around it, like whether it's okay to open up restaurants or other businesses, whether it's not okay, the debates going on, especially online, people throwing more than happy to or more than likely to kind of get mean in the comment section. I talked about this in other videos, but like I've seen this thing with the people who are for the lockdowns, who like when I say lockdowns, I mean like they 100% like no one goes into restaurants, maybe just the carry out and delivery, who will say things like, oh, like, this is, if you think this is okay, you value profits over health, which I think is just a very narrow-minded way of looking at the situation. To just say like, hey, I think we should loosen, the seating. I think we need to support these employees and their businesses because I feel as though they're not getting enough help from the government or from other financial institutions, and to just like kind of like examine that argument and just go like, oh, well, you just care more about money than you do about people's health. I think that's a very narrow-minded way of looking at that situation, because there's a lot of different contexts to that, and I feel there's a lot of nuance to the situation, and to try and attempt to just narrow it down like that, to just generalize like that, is I feel like missing a lot of potential context in other people's lives. So I don't, hey, like, if it's just, I feel like it is, hey, if things went, perfectly, maybe it'd be a different story. But you know what? The solution we've come up with is not perfect either. There's flaws to it. I think there's legitimate criticisms. I think there's reasonable criticisms of how things have been managed so far. So, to then just go like, to just like insult people, when you don't even know their backstory, you don't know what their struggles are, or what they're, or just to not listen to them and like be like, oh, well, this is, and just doing it in a condescending way. I'm not saying like, oh, I don't mean like, oh, well, I disagree with your opinion that we should open up restaurants, and I respect your opinion. I will disagree with it. I don't mean like that. I mean, I've seen people just like say very rude things and like ignore nuance, because they believe like, because they believe their way is the right way. But at the same time, they're also willing to just like, attack you for your position, and throw out, like I said, like black and white arguments and not gray arguments. And again, like these lockdowns have not fully worked either. These lockdowns, the measurements of these lockdowns, in my opinion, have ignored other aspects like mental health and physical health, and stability and other things like that. We've seen the high unemployments. There's footage of people waiting in line for food, car lines and stuff like that. So, it's scary. It really is. It's really disparaging and frustrating to see all that. So, I don't know, man. It's just like, all I gotta say is I feel like the current situation is not working out the best either. Like, and I just, yeah, essentially that. So, like if you can, all I gotta say is like, if you can, for those who think that we should stay home, like if you're able to stay home, if you believe you should stay home, then stay home. If you can work from home, then work from home, and don't go out as little as possible. That's an option too. I mean, like there's multiple people are doing that. Something we have to also take into consideration is just because we open things back up, that doesn't mean everyone's going to go out and just start is going to start just shopping again and eating out again. Some people are definitely going to be hesitant to do those things. They're going to still stay home as much as possible. Like I have an anecdotal experience. I was getting my haircut done, and the lady I was getting my haircut done with was saying, like, ever since this whole thing happened, like she's lost a bunch of business. Like even recently, like don't want to get, people are just hesitant to go out and get haircuts, and I don't blame them. My hair was getting very long, so I was like, well, I don't want to keep on growing and growing out. I want to get it really, really cut short. That's so I don't have to go back to a haircut place for like months. I was trying to think long term ahead, because my hair was growing out like a lot, and I was just like, it's time to get this cut. And since I'm going to be there, I don't want to go back to a barber shop, or I don't want to go back to a haircut place for months on end, because I'm thinking about the COVID situation. I had the COVID situation in my mind, so I'm like, okay, well, the less time I can spend with haircuts, the better. So just get it cut super short like this, and so I don't have to go back to a haircut facility for like, I would say 3 months at least. With how short my hair is, I would say this can last me for about 3 months. So January, February, March, yeah, up until late March, early April, and hopefully by then, a lot more people will get vaccinated, and the vaccines will work, and hopefully things get better. Yeah, because like it's been rough on a lot of people. I gotta say though, like, it's been worse on other people than on myself, and I'm fully aware of that. And I try to be grateful for what I have, because like some people are struggling out there. And that being said, though, that's why I'm not sure. That's why I'm concerned about some of these lockdown measurements, because like if people are struggling really a lot, then like that, to me, that kind of says like, hey, maybe we should look into improving the situation, the solutions we've had, because we've had these solutions for months on end. We've been using these solutions for months on end, these lockdown solutions. And, it just seems like it's not working out. It just seems like we don't have the resources. You can blame the federal government for that, or the state governments, or the local governments, or you could say, oh, well, if it wasn't for Trump and the Republicans, they should have given more aid, or say the Democrats, vice versa. Like, we can complain about that all day long. At the end of the day, though, if it's not happening, or if things are taking a long time to plan out, to phase, to put into action, then it's just, then we got to come up with other solutions that are going to help in the short term, because we can't just in my opinion, we just can't fully rely on long-term solutions if those long-term solutions mean the more businesses going out of business. We should be able to avoid things like that. Like, we shouldn't have to be worrying about these kind of things, in my opinion, because it just adds on to the stress of what's already going on. So, and it's just the whole thing's so crazy. I mean, like, I'm sure there's plenty of people who could criticize what I'm saying too. There is no perfect, and as far as I'm concerned with this pandemic, there is no perfect or great solution. Like, because all these solutions have flaws in them. I'm just trying to say we got to try, and perhaps it's time that we find more of a middle ground, or find some other solutions too, because the current solutions may need to be readjusted. Like I said, we can't just keep all. I don't know if it's a good idea to just keep all these businesses closed, especially if they're not being given support. Like, it's one thing if they're being given support financially, and their bills, their utility bills, and their taxes, and their rent pay, and they pay their employees, was being subsidized by the government. But it's clear in multiple situations across the United States, at least, I can't speak for other countries, I'm speaking about the USA here, that has not been the case. That we've seen multiple businesses either go out of business or on the verge of going out of business. And it's just, So that just tells me that, like, hey, we're not giving these businesses enough support. And I can complain about that like I am right now, but what am I going to do about it? I mean, I can't do much at the end of the day. I can donate some money, a little bit of money, to some of these fundraisers like Barstool is doing. Barstool has set up a fundraiser to have all these, to help out all these small businesses. So that's all I can really do at the end of the day is maybe give out a little bit of money to some smaller businesses and patron them. I can't really do much else than that. Maybe spread awareness through fundraisers and stuff like I just did with Barstool. But other than that, it's not the there's not much else I can do personally. So I can only do so much at the end of the day. So just try and help out however I can, and hopefully just try and ride out the storm and take proper precautions. Like, I don't have a problem with the face mask thing. I don't see why. It just doesn't bother me like it bothers some other people. I wish it didn't bother people that much, but some people take great issue with it. It doesn't really bother me as much, but like I said, not much I can do about that. So I just try and take precautions. I try and support local business, and I try to just help out whenever I can. So, all right. So I already feel less tense than I was at the beginning of this whole thing. I felt much more tense 16 minutes and 30 seconds ago. So I just wanted to get some stuff off my shoulders when it came to COVID and other situations. But I talked mainly about COVID right now. And I just wanted to get a video out there too, because it's been a while since I've recorded anything. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up and conclude this video. So thank you all for watching. Please subscribe for more content. I got dozens upon dozens upon dozens of videos already on West Productions 100 YouTube channel, and more to come. So thank you all for watching, and take care. Bye-bye.